All right, well, welcome to the Mary Hyatt Show. My name is Mary Hyatt. I am your show host, and I am thrilled to have you on the show today. Every other week or so, I have a guest that I bring on, and today I have two amazing women that I cannot wait to introduce you to. They are friends, they are allies, they are people that I just... literally, if I had a child, I would trust my child with them. They are just like salt of the earth. Their message is so important. But if this is your first time, maybe you don't know who the heck I am. So let me introduce myself for just a moment. So I am a life coach, an entrepreneur, and a presidential diamond with doTERRA. And my heart, my passion, my mission, my destiny in this world is to help women wake up, find their voice, and to become fully alive. So on this show, you're going to hear me talk about things that have to do with authenticity, vulnerability, finding your voice, really wrestling with the things that we deal with as women, and aligning ourselves to our true essence. I talk a lot about body image, talk a lot about learning how to accept and love your body as it is today. And so today's topic is just a perfect meld of that, but let's start the show. Okay, welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Excited to be here.
I mean, this is really like, we've been talking about doing this for a while.
Yes.
Now, I know that we have a lot of HHH, or Hot and Healthy Habits fans, already on. If you are an HHH fan, give us a shout out in the comments so these girls can know that you're watching. And if you do not know these girls, let me introduce who they are. Okay, first up, I'm going to introduce Amanda. So Amanda, guys, I mean, she's freaking amazing, but she is a former international fitness cover model, certified personal trainer, and co-founder of Hot and Healthy Habits. Without a whole lot of help, Amanda took a blog and her passion to make fitness and nutrition less confusing and turned it into a thriving business with a social media following in the hundreds of thousands. Jealous. Okay. But after several years of selling diet programs, promoting supplements companies, and supporting an industry that profited off women's failures, she now spends her time educating women on the harmful effects of diets and the impossible standards that the fitness industry places on women. Amanda's work is driven by a passion to see diverse and inclusive marketing initiatives that create space for women to feel welcomed and encouraged as they navigate their own self-acceptance journey. In addition to her work at Hot and Healthy Habits, Amanda enjoys trying new brunch spots in Nashville, listening to podcasts on her drives back to Atlanta to visit her friends and her family, and lying on the floor dreaming of her friend and co-founder, Ander Wilson. I love it. Okay, so now let's get into chatting and introducing you to Ander. Guys, these are two amazing women. So Ander Wilson is a registered dietitian nutritionist and nutrition therapist. She works with clients to create healthy, meaningful lives without chasing diets and weight loss. Ander's approach includes intuitive eating and health at every size. Ander holds a Master of Science degree in Sustainable Food Systems from Lipscomb University here in Nashville, a Bachelor of Science degree in Nutrition and Dietetics. Is that how you say that? Yep. Okay. From Winthrop University, and completed her postgraduate dietetics training with Lipscomb University. Her past training and experience includes his work in clinical dietetics. I don't know why that feels like a weird word to me.
It's a weird word.
Eating disorder treatment in a behavioral health treatment center, nutrition programming consultant, and university nutrition professor. Ander has a special interest in helping women navigate pregnancy and postpartum nutrition, disordered eating, and disease management. She approaches nutrition therapy with a client-centered, collaborative focus. She operates from the understanding that you are the expert of your body and seeks to honor your wisdom, knowledge, and experience while making herself available as a resource and guide. In addition to her work as a nutrition therapist, Ander enjoys spending time with her husband and son, who is so adorable, making last-minute plans with friends, and helping run Hot Healthy Habits with friend and co-founder Amanda Adams. Woo! That is a mouthful. And I feel like we could have said so much more about you guys. Oh,
Please don't.
no, you guys truly are some of my favorite people. When we go to coffee, you guys, we get all fired up.
Oh, we do. Yeah. Yeah.
We pretty much solve all the world's problems in about 2 hours. Yes. So just know that we're working to do it. Okay.
We're working real hard.
Yeah. But you guys have such a powerful mission. And what you're doing at Hot and Healthy Habits, to me, has been revolutionary. I was a part of you guys' retreat that you do once a year this past summer and then the summer before that. And just to see the women who come to this event, and honestly, to me, it's like the chains that are broken at that event is powerful. So tell us a little bit about Hot and Healthy Habits. How did it start? What was it birthed from? And what is it now?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Man.
well, I'll go ahead and just say what we are right now, and then Amanda can maybe go back and tell a little bit about how we got here.
Perfect.
So Hot and Healthy Habits, we are a company that creates resources and experiences for women to help them care for their whole selves, to show up and live for their whole selves. That includes mind, body, spirit. We do not believe those things are disconnected. They're all connected. It's not just our opinion. Right. That's research. So, yeah, we try to make that really fun, too, because self-work is hard, and it's not always fun. And a lot of times, whenever you choose to do the, non-quick fix path, you're signing up for a longer journey. Yeah. So, yeah, we have online resources. We have a great presence on social media. And then once a year, we do a retreat. And it's an amazing 3-day experience. It's really, it's the heart of what we
absolutely.
do. Yeah.
Because, to go back to where we started, the reason why I think the retreat means so much to us now is because we know where we came from.
Yeah, so tell us about
it was the most opposite. It was the most opposite. So we started... this had been 7 years ago, 10 years ago now?
Oh, I don't know. Not working together.
Well, working together, but we were selling diets and meal plans and workout plans, and they weren't even what you would consider extreme.
No, really boring.
Very boring
stuff. Marketed, really fun.
Great, yes, just bikini body program, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but boring.
Boring. But the thing is that we grew with these women. Yeah. These women that were part of our diet and workout program were with us for years. They were getting married. They were moving states. They were having kids. And so even though our diet plan back then was only 12 weeks, we were with them for years. And so we were seeing what their life was like after diets, even with something that was boring like ours. And we weren't comfortable with it because these were hardworking women. Moms, lawyers, CEOs, and suddenly 12 weeks later, they were still not happy with themselves, or they were suddenly blaming themselves and be like, I can't do this. And we were like, what? No, y'all do hard things all the time. This isn't you. Yeah. This isn't you. And so we realized, hey, we need to go behind the scenes and figure out way more about diets. And maybe this is us. Maybe it's this diet that is making these women doubt themselves so much. And then so we spent 1.5 years and pretty much stopped our business, stopped selling that. And
was that scary?
The scariest thing we've ever done.
Yeah. It's super.
I'm like, I can't imagine.
Scary.
You
It
just
was so scary.
up and say, no, we're going to change directions, and we're risking everybody who follows us because of this one certain thing.
Yeah.
So take me through that shift.
I feel like, you say it good. You always give this analogy that it was almost like we found out that we were...
Tobacco, that we were like cigarette salesmen who found out tobacco causes cancer. It's super inconvenient because that's what we build our livelihood on.
Right. Dietitian, personal trainer,
it's what you do.
That's what you do.
But we found out that okay, this is actually ineffective, and we'll talk more about the harm of diets. Unethical, we can't do this anymore. So we really didn't have a choice. And I'll add to that, while we were watching these women and growing with them and seeing that 12 weeks later, maybe they lost weight, but they end up gaining it back, or, it's so much back and forth. We were also keeping up to date with the research.
Right.
And I remember being super resistant to the research that was coming out, saying that diets were ineffective and diets were harmful, because, again, this is my livelihood.
Yeah.
And so I say that I read the research in the books and all the literature for a while.
Yes, you did.
Until it became very clear that, okay, this is not just like one-off studies or somebody's opinion that maybe diets don't work. This is compelling, and based on this evidence, I ethically cannot sell diets or engage in diet culture anymore. So,
and that research wasn't out there, and that's what we started realizing, that like, oh my gosh, wait, it's all right here. Like, it's telling us right here that diets are not good for you. They're not healthy. Yeah. But it's not sexy to sell that. And so all this research is out there, but no one wants to do that. I mean, diets
it's damning to a whole industry.
Well, and I think, too, like you said, when you've built your audience on the concept that this works and buy my program because you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
And I always think, common sense, diets are relatively new.
Yeah.
Like, if you look in, like, the whole history of humankind, like, diets are relatively new. And so I could see where this research is still coming out, and we're starting to see now the ripple effect of what's going on based on a culture that, glorifies diets. We didn't have that 100 years ago. Yeah. We didn't have that 50 years ago. So for you guys to be able to evolve and... I'm trying to think of the other word, but like innovate as this research is coming out. Yeah. I mean, I said this at the beginning, but these people are salt of the earth. Like, that speaks to your integrity, that you are willing to say, like,
thank you.
This may risk us our entire career, but this is what's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we're
still figuring that out.
Right.
Because that's just a long journey in itself. Right. It's just starting a business all the way over from completely opposite. Yeah. But thankfully, I mean, a lot of the women that we grew with, they came over with us. Yeah. And they trusted us, and because we kept reminding them, like, no, guys, we have, like, your heart and soul. Like, like, we are not, like, please look at this research. Like, we apologize that we were over here, but now we're over here, and they've been with us. So
I was going to ask, like, a real, like, vulnerable question. Like, did you lose anybody?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, we lost a lot of people.
Ton.
We lost, and honestly, I think we thought that we would lose more people.
Right.
Like, possibly everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a good amount. Because I think in the beginning, maybe people didn't realize, like, how strong of a stance that we were taking. Mm-hmm. This wasn't like a new angle, like a non-diet angle, but it's still a diet. And for a while, a lot of people were still looking for the diet within our program, which I don't fault them for that. That is a conditioning of our culture. So, a lot of people did leave.
And our lifestyle just changed too, because when you don't sell diets, you obviously aren't hardcore into the fitness industry anymore.
Right.
Like,
and that's where
you're not going to have magazine features when you're against everything the magazine's about now. So
they're not going to put you on the covers anymore.
I know. So you just kind of put that part of your career to the side.
That's so brave and terrifying.
Yeah.
And so brave. Now, let me just say, if any of you guys have questions for Amanda or Ander, put them in the comments below. We will get to them. We'll leave some time for Q&A. So if you have questions about diets, about diet culture, about losing weight, about any of that kind of stuff, now is your chance to put that in the comment section. We'll get to it. Okay, so first of all, you guys are getting a ton of love on the comments, okay? Ashley Kemp is here. She said, hey, hottie boss women. Megan Eisman said, yay, some of my fave ladies. So clearly you had some people follow.
Like, these aren't just like clients, followers. These literally are our sisters. Yeah. We've known each other for years.
Yeah. Like, Ashley and I could have like a baby at the same time. Like, we're pregnant at the same time. And so it's really neat. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to switch gears a little bit so that everybody kind of has an idea of what diet culture is. Because we're throwing that term out a lot. We're saying diet culture, diet culture, diet culture. And you might think we're just talking about diets, and when it's really obvious if you were on a diet or not. But I would love for either of you to kind of break it down. When you say diet culture, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, it depends how far out you want to go.
Right.
So I'll just make a few points, and it might be a little messy. But diet culture is really a response to the thin ideal, which is like how much our society values and rewards thinness, also whiteness, and a certain type of woman, a certain type of femininity. So if you are a woman or a femme, there is a box and a mold you're supposed to fit in, and you're rewarded through attention.
Oh, yeah.
You have access to better healthcare, to better clothing options, I get it. So whenever, like, Amanda and I kind of struggle a little bit with being, frustrated with how entrenched everyone is in diet culture. But whenever we back up and see that it is a product of this cultural conditioning, then it's really hard to kind of blame the individual whenever
Right. No, it's like almost impossible. Yes.
Yeah, it's really hard. So just the idea that you need to be less, that you need to eat less, that lack and that shrinking of a human being is what I consider diet culture. And that has implications for your health, for how you show up in your own life, in your relationships, in your family, how you engage with community, your politics, all of it. So it's a big kind of messy, hairy monster.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I want to pull up the slide of the diet buzzwords.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's take a look at that because I want to even make it more crystal clear to our people.
Oh, yeah.
So Amanda, take us through these diet buzzwords.
So diet buzzwords. So right now, cheat meal, clean eating, deserve. So when we're saying these words, usually these words, they don't usually think of them as bad words. Like these are things that people talk about on the coffee table or in the lunchroom at your work and stuff. But these are all just different ways of saying diet, of saying you need to be less, you need to be just you're not good enough right now. And so cheat meal, clean eating, deserve, low fat, low carbs, skinny recipe, meal plan, if it fits your macros, quit sugar, challenge, bad, good food, flexible dieting, restrict, approved food, earn, detox. I mean, the list could go on.
Yeah, this is just like a sampling.
There is so many words out there, and they'll continue changing. And we even say right now that we're scared that right now it's even going, people are already out there right now being like, this is not a diet, or like, no,
it's
last
co-opting.
diet. And we're like, oh my gosh, it's starting. They're going to start flipping
Turning,
it.
Intuitive eating. So I think that list...
And it also makes you kind of, which means that people know that it's bad. That's why they keep changing it. They're like, oh, they called us. Okay, let's change it again.
Yeah, it's kind of taboo now to diet. So even,
you think?
Explicitly diet.
Okay.
Yeah. So even if you look at popular programs like your Weight Watchers and your Jenny Craig, they're all about, well, it's flexible and it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. Like it's a little, like old school, but not in the good, cool way.
It's just words that put so much shame around your body and food. And no matter what. Even if it's put next to this very happy blonde girl.
Yeah.
Basically, like, you can't be, you're not good enough. You're not lovable as you are. Something needs to be fixed. You are broken. And to me, anytime you get that subliminal messaging that I need to change something about myself, that's not from a place of my own personal desire to have more energy or to be able to keep up with the life that I want to live, but when it's dictated by mass media, when it's dictated by culture, when it's dictated by movies and dictated by people who are doing these programs, to me, that's a really clear indicator that, ooh, I'm being sold something. There's profit being made that's exploiting my shame, that's exploiting my body hatred to profit somebody. Like, the way that I think about diets is that I have to fail in order for them to make money.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Which is so crazy. Like,
it's
they're making money, whoever they are, they are making money and banking on that I fail. Right. But I think, too, let's define failure, because failure to me could mean like I don't stay with the diet. So like I quit, I don't have enough willpower, I don't have enough strength if I would only just get up earlier. So it's my fault. It's my fault that I didn't finish the diet.
Yeah.
I know these are like so many things.
It's women's fault. That's what blows my mind. Like,
yeah, so it's all of our fault that we're not finishing the diet. But then, even if I'm successful and I lose weight, fast forward 1 year, fast forward 2 years, 5 years, and I gain any of that weight back, let alone more weight than I lost, now I'm a failure all over again.
Right.
So there's a lot of like, it's risky business.
Yes, it's crazy.
There's a lot at stake.
There's not a service or a product out there that would be continuing to sell if it had that type of turnaround.
If it was successful.
Yes.
You would never take your car back to a mechanic.
Exactly. Yeah,
that
like
screwed up your car 95% of the time and willingly give them your money.
Yes.
Like,
and all your friends also.
You would never refer
their
someone
car
to
was
that.
screwed up.
Yeah.
But we'll just sit around and be like, you know what? It was probably me. We all just sit around and be like, it's probably all of our car. It wasn't the mechanic.
I didn't put the gas in right.
You know what? Yeah,
I didn't drive it right.
Well, have you tried this gas?
Right.
If only you had driven your car in the morning.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
6
it
a.m.
is
Then.
ridiculous. But when you get back and you start looking at it, you're like, oh my gosh, guys, this isn't us at all.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Just
Okay.
need a lot of people and a lot of money.
It is. Yeah. There are billions and billions of dollars.
Yes.
Okay. So I want to take a look at the diet mindset versus non-diet mindset. So we have a slide for this that I want to show that I think will be really powerful. And either one of you can take us through this. So this is like peel back the layers of your brain. This is what's going on.
Right.
Yeah. So the diet mindset, these as well as the diet buzzwords, these phrases, these words don't exist in a vocabulary of someone who is not dieting. There's no reason for these words and these thoughts to exist. Like, did I burn enough calories to eat this? I fell off the wagon. What the heck's the wagon anyway?
Right.
I can't eat this. I ate awful. So we're talking about can and can't. So you putting limits on what you're allowed to do when actually you're a human and you have agency and power to make your own decisions. I ate awful this weekend. I'm being good. That is placing morality on food. And food is neither good nor bad. There is no moral value to food. It's just food. And then I need to be more disciplined. We'll talk about why the fault is not in you as a human. And then I'm working out and eating healthy, but still haven't lost weight. I need to switch up my nutrition or workouts, and we'll get to that. Basically, your body isn't really going to let you control as much as you think. And then the non-diet mindset, and this could be something very natural for some of you, or something that maybe you picked up on whenever you were a child, or this could be something really foreign. So being able to say, I'm hungry right now, I'm going to eat, just for the reason that I'm hungry. So not getting angry with yourself, why am I hungry? I just ate an hour ago, but just, hey, my body's telling me this, I'm going to feed it. Food and fitness rules don't determine what or when I eat. And then, is this what I want to eat? And I had a great time this weekend. So being able to look at an experience and look at the whole experience, not just one aspect being like the food or what you ate. There are no forbidden foods. That is true. And then you can eat whatever food you want at any time of the day.
Yeah.
Whatever serves you well.
I love that because it's just, again, it's helping us break down and go, yeah, I have this thought. It's like we all have been through both sides of that. Yeah. I'm really working on the non-diet mentality, and I get tripped up. I texted you guys this weekend, and I was like, I don't know what to eat. I'm freaking out, and I'm still dealing with it. And I coach people on this. Like it's a lot of undoing from years of being programmed otherwise.
That's a lot of layers.
Yeah,
and that's what we always say, that like even us three as experts. No, next year, we'll probably discover something and be like, wow, that's definitely from diet culture.
Yeah. Oh, God, I don't even. I'm sure. Okay, so there's so many things I want to get to, so I'm going to try to go through it. How can you tell if it's a diet? Because it's getting more clever. Mm-hmm. The words are shifting. So how can you tell? Like, what are the things that you know for sure? Like, oh, this means it's a diet. This means it's a diet. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier, which is if you were letting external sources, determine what you eat, when you eat, how you eat, that is a diet. And so external sources, that could be a book, it could be a blog post, it could be your doctor, it could be any number of things. But if it is outside of your body telling you what to eat, and then the short answer is restriction, especially if it restricts anything, then it's a diet. Being like not being on a diet and being an intuitive eater, I would define that as deciding what you eat, when you eat, how you eat, based on what feels good in your body. So listening to your own internal wisdom, which you have. And sometimes, you know, for a lot of us, I know for me personally, and I'll let you speak for yourself, but went a long time being completely disconnected from my body and not knowing. I had given up all control over when and how and what I ate to external sources. So getting back in touch with my body and, okay, this feels good. Sometimes it's a salad. Sometimes it's fried mac and cheese bites from Burger Up.
Hello.
So good, y'all.
Well, I want to know. Oh, go ahead.
And then from like a marketing standpoint, we just love when our women now they're becoming more skeptical. So if you see someone that you're following, even if they're an expert, and they are just constantly putting the thin ideal in front of you. Yeah. And pretty much what we used to do. Yeah. We literally used just my body and put through everything. But that's just subconsciously making you be, oh, thin ideal. So even if an expert is doing that, like, look at their thing. Yeah. Like, look at their marketing, their website, and be like, why are they not showing other bodies? Why is this the only thing that they're showing next to health?
I'd also say weight loss. Any mention of weight loss, that should be like a red flag.
Okay. All right, so can I be devil's advocate? Because I know people, and if you guys have questions, let us know. Yeah. Okay, what if I want to lose weight? How do I do that?
I know. First question.
Yeah, so there is to date we do not know how the majority of people, when I say majority of people, like 95% of people who go on a diet, lose weight, gain it back. Not only that, they usually gain back more than they started with. And so if you do that a few times, or let's say several years of that you are actually increasing your weight over time, as well as increasing your risk for chronic diseases, because dieting is a stressor, increases inflammation, the release of cortisol, that contributes to chronic disease. So if it is a health pursuit, it is not going to happen through diets.
Okay, but I'm going to stop you because I'm going to go back. But all the research says that if I lose weight, I'll be healthier.
I would say revisit the research, and a great resource.
I don't think that. I'm just being devil's advocate.
No, that's great. And because there are like tons of sound bites. A great book for this is called Secrets from the Eating Lab by Tracy Mann. And she's a researcher out of, I believe, University of Minnesota. Get that book because what she does is go back and revisits all the weight loss studies and shows where, okay, all these results and the things that we're tracking were, like, they stopped tracking after 12 weeks or after 6 months or after a year. And if you actually look at people over a longer period of time, which, we're living way longer than that, I hope, people weigh more after they diet than if they've never dieted before, and they are less healthy than if they have never dieted before.
Yes.
Okay, so this brings me to your story because, so for those of you who didn't follow Amanda before, she was a former fitness cover model, and she had abs like you could wash your clothes on them, okay? I mean, like, bam, 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 thank you, ma'am. I mean, like, holy freaking cow. And I'm sure that when people saw those pictures, because they were on health magazines, and let's pull up those pictures to show the before of Amanda. When they saw these pictures on health and fitness, and here's a picture of you taking a photo of yourself and your body in the mirror, that to me says, I need to be that. Right. That's the healthiest option available. She is at the pinnacle of health. She must be eating salads every day and have tons of energy and feel incredible. And here's you again at your bodybuilding competition and on the cover of Fitness magazine. So take us into the real health that you were experiencing.
That's a lot. Okay. So first thing is, I was so young. like, and that's what makes me really sad when I always go back to this, is that, like, yes, when I know there's probably like 21-year-olds and 22-year-olds right now, and you're like, I'm not young, I'm a grown up. It's like, gosh, when I look back now, I'm like, I was so young. And I just got dragged into the media like everybody else did. And I was in college, and I was during a time where I was like, man, okay, I just want to feel cooler. What's the coolest thing to do? It's like, who doesn't want to be on the cover of a magazine?
Sure.
Like, why not? And so I just went head first. But I lost my period for a year and a half, started losing my hair, but it was hard to like say that out loud to people because people are like, oh my gosh, you're such an inspiration. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm also flying to Germany and Spain and all these things. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. I can't be not healthy. I have to be healthy. This is, I don't know what this doctor is telling me about if I want to have kids one day. Like, does she not know that, like, I am literally helping women around the world?
Yeah.
But that was the thing, is that even magazines didn't care about that, and supplement industries did not care about that. They cared about, this girl's marketable, meaning she is blonde and thin and white, and she will sell. And that's when, yeah. And finally, when I met her. And we started working together more. That's when I started realizing that, like, oh my gosh, like, this is disordered eating. Like, I'm literally carrying around asparagus and tilapia in a plastic bag, and I'm supposed to be the healthy person. And I was like, what has happened? And so that industry just, still, this day, I don't think, like, fitness modeling, bodybuilding industry magazines, I still think they have so far to come.
It's not health. Like
it's not health. It's just, it's a really great way to cover up eating disorders and disordered eating.
So what is health?
It makes it look cool.
So, yeah, what is health then? If you could redefine it now, because obviously that isn't the picture of health.
Yeah.
So then, so what does it look like?
I mean, I know it's kind of gives a lot of eye rolls, but it's just really is like how you feel. Like, God, I hate that it has to be what you look like. And it's also easier for me to say that I know because I still am thin. And so, but it's, can you move? Can you walk around? Can you have energy? Can I do work? Can I sleep at night? Can I enjoy memories with my family and my friends and not wake up every Monday morning being like, oh my gosh, I'm a bad person, which blows my mind that we still spend so many years waking up Monday mornings and being like, that whole weekend that I just didn't even matter because of food.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And so I think health is just, are you living your best life? And whatever that looks like on the outside, whatever, as long as you're living your best life, you're making as many memories as you possibly can.
Well, and I think for me, like, because I've been on a journey for myself, to me it's a lot about, can I keep up with my life?
Yeah.
Can I keep up with my life? And that isn't a shape, that isn't a size, that isn't a weight. Is, do I have energy? Can I keep up with my life? And making sure, I think this is the big piece, is that I'm not obsessing.
Yes.
Because health is not obsession. They're, to me, different things. So if I am obsessing about food or obsessing about my weight or how I look or walking into a room and all I can think about is how people are judging me, that isn't health from a mental standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, and from a physical standpoint. Yeah. That's not health. So health is releasing the obsession and anchoring back into how I feel, anchoring back into my body, and I'm the only one that can judge that. And I think that's a big piece, is releasing the obsession.
Yes. You can't, stress is causing inflammation, is the source of so much. I know a lot of people use inflammation as, well, I'm going to eat certain foods to decrease inflammation. It's like, well, when you decide to focus and obsess on eating these anti-inflammatory foods, you're actually causing stress and, like, negating the whole point of it.
So that kind of brings me into my next question, which is, what about nutrition? What about healthy eating from our nutritionist?
Yeah. I don't know what I would do without her in my life.
So food is not healthy in and of itself. If you eat, let's say, kale or oatmeal or bananas, if you only ate that food forever, you would have some type of deficiency. Like, healthy is what is the collaborative result of all your behaviors, your whole lifestyle, and healthy exists in a human. Like Mary can be healthy, Andrew can be healthy, Amanda can be healthy. Avocado cannot be healthy. Avocado can be nutritious, and by that it just means full of nutrients, and other foods not as nutritious. So I do like to make that distinction. And so if healthy just exists in a person, then the question is, what do you need to eat that makes your body feel good and that makes you feel healthy? And that's going to be different things at different times, depending on what day it is, what week it is, what meal it is, what you have access to. Some people, and a big source of poor health is that a lot of people don't have the power or the resources to obtain the things that do make them feel good in their bodies, whether that be food, health care, some type of access to movement or exercise. So
yes, and that's a whole other can of worms.
Talk for days.
But I will say that your body naturally likes nutritious foods. Some people freak out whenever they think about not being on a diet, and they say, well, I would just eat pizza forever.
I've heard that. I would eat sugar, like I would eat the entire thing of Oreos, and I wouldn't be able to stop myself.
Yeah. So two quick things on that. One, no, you wouldn't.
You might once.
Right. So if you ask yourself,
might have a moment, absolutely.
Yeah, so there is like this honeymoon phase of like, I can eat whatever I want, and sometimes that's a big, swing into to feeling kind of like this out of control. That is only a result of restriction. So that binge cycle, that I'm going to eat everything, does not exist outside of restriction.
Right.
So whenever you really fully let go of restriction, that and diets, that doesn't happen. So, and then the next thing is, I would just ask, like, would you actually choose to eat pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I honestly haven't
just
had a
did that
client
in Italy, and I'm telling you, after about 5
How'd you
days,
feel?
I was over it.
Yeah.
I was like, please give me a salad. Please give me like some fruit. Like my body was craving it.
Right.
I mean, I could feel it.
But it didn't make the pizza bad or anything.
No, it was great.
It was
Pizza was delicious. Let myself eat it.
Right.
No restriction.
Right.
But after eating that literally for probably 5 days, my body was craving something different.
Yeah.
For my brain to work. Like I was like foggy brain. It was,
Yeah. So, a lot of people after that initial like, oh my God, I'm going to eat everything, after that one experience, they freak out and they go back into diet mode. And then so we just go back and forth. It's this really unhealthy cycle. But if you can get past that, you won't be stuck in that cycle.
That I feel like is so helpful, because that's the fear that if we stop dieting, we're just going to literally gain all this weight and we're going to eat everything in sight and we have zero self-control. And that's a product of diets, because diets teach you have no self-control.
Right.
Which is why you need to be on a diet.
Which is so just not true.
Yes. Like our bodies are so smart. We've just been taught our entire life that we can't trust it.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to get to some questions here in just a second. So if you guys have some questions, I've seen several of them. We will get to them. Go ahead and throw them in the comment section below. But I want to touch on one last topic before we get to that. Obesity. The obesity epidemic, as it is, run for the hills. It seems like, from what the media is saying, that there is a growing number of people who are becoming obese in this country, and especially children, seeing a lot more obese children. What do you think is causing that, and what should we do about it?
Ooh, okay. So,
This is Real House.
She's like, go girl.
I love it.
So I'm not going to answer this question directly, because I feel like the way that we talk about obesity and the obesity epidemic isn't necessarily helpful, and I'll explain that. Normally what I have seen anyway, is two different camps, where it's like the obesity epidemic is everything, we're losing so much money, we're losing, like we have less qualified people to be in the military, all kinds of things, national defense, it's a thing, or in children's health. And then you've kind of got this group that's like, no, it's just, a political stunt, like it's not actually a thing. Where I land is, even if obesity caused health problems, which the science is not clear on that. If anyone tells you that they know what causes obesity, and they have an idea for how to, or they know how to cure it, they're lying to you. Right. There is no researcher or doctor who knows for sure what causes it. It's very complicated. It is, I do know for sure that it is not a product of eating too much and not exercising enough. It is so much more.
Calories in, calories out, just stop eating.
Yeah. So here's my problem with the, quote, obesity epidemic, is by pitching it as this very scary epidemic that we all need to be fearful of, it creates fat phobia and weight stigma. And we do know from research that weight stigma contributes to poor health outcomes. And it could be that the product of weight cycling, which we talked about earlier, so whenever you have pressure to lose weight because you naturally exist in a larger body, you probably weight cycled a lot, and that puts you at risk for chronic diseases. If you combine that with weight stigma, because we have this fear, then you have really created this scenario in which somebody is really ripe for increased risk of chronic diseases. So there is so much that we don't know about these different approaches, but there are a few things that we do know. One, dieting does not lead to better health outcomes. Pushing this obesity epidemic agenda creates weight stigma. Weight stigma causes poor health. So I would just, if you want to help people, which then work on creating a society and a culture that does not harm people, discriminate against people just because of their natural body size.
Right. Or just living their life.
Amen. Amen. We had a whole conversation about this at coffee.
This is why you're my nutrition therapist.
I mean, if you don't already want to follow them, please follow them.
Or
you can
just work with her.
Yes.
She just helps you so much.
Everybody's saying, yes, I admire you. Well said. Awesome, awesome. Go, Andrew, go. Brain crush.
For real. Guys, this is literally me every day at work. I just go, what do you think about this? And I'm like, yeah, okay.
How fun is that?
Oh, it's the coolest.
I love it.
It's
Okay,
the coolest.
let me get to some of these questions because these are so good. Let me go scroll up. Okay, Rachel said, so would you say documentaries shedding light onto our food, like Food Inc., Food Matters, Fed Up, exposing how our food is sourced, how sugar is addicting, what is nutritious or not, would you say that is part of diet culture?
100%.
Yes.
There,
media.
yeah.
It's media.
I think in the beginning, like Food Inc., which is a documentary that's about the food system, not necessarily weight, although I haven't seen it in a while, and I'm sure if I were to go back, there would definitely be references to some, like, not health-friendly things in there. But they are most dietitians' worst nightmare. Literally, I'm in some Facebook groups with dietitians, and when there's a new documentary out, like, there was one, what's the most recent one that people are flipping out over?
What the health?
What the Health? I mean, it is literally
I hope that's
painful.
actually true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It is painful. It is, just don't. Just say no. We're not even going to analyze it. Just no.
So would you say, because you and I met because of farmers markets,
Yeah.
you and I met because
Yeah.
of local food,
Yeah.
and what a lot of people would say is real food, like actual vegetables, actual fruits,
Right.
not processed, not chemical, not boxed, not whatever.
Yeah.
Would you say that those foods are better for our body than boxed food, processed food,
Ooh. Yeah.
etc.?
It depends. So if you are eating, whether, food from a farmer's market and a box of crackers from the store, from a place of, making your body feel good, and you don't have stress over it, then that stuff's going to serve your body well. If you are in a diet mindset and it freaks you out to have that cracker, it freaks you out to have that food that you think is bad, stress releases hormones and causes a lot of problems too for, like, digestion. A lot of digestive troubles, not all, but a lot of them can be attributed to stress from diets. So let's say that you are obsessed with clean eating. If that's the case, then all your food from a farmer's market that's eaten out of fear could actually be less healthy than going and get a box of crackers. So that's the bigger picture. At the end of the day, like, produce is more nutritious. Your body's going to tell you that it wants that after a while.
And I think that it goes back to that saying, I can't remember who said it, but that it's not what you eat, it's what you think
Yes.
about what you
definitely.
eat
Oh, absolutely.
that
yes.
affects your body.
Yes.
And it goes back to how does it make you feel?
Yeah.
How does it make you
Yeah.
feel? You are the judge.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get to some of these. Marjorie said, that is what the industry does. It turns people into products.
Yeah.
It dehumanizes people. And ironically, you have to participate in massively unhealthy behaviors to get that look.
Yeah.
I think that
Yep.
was in response to your story.
Absolutely. I
Um,
remember it very well.
Which is the opposite of health.
opposite of
Opposite.
health.
Opposite of health.
Carol Jones.
Oh, Carol.
Carol's Anders' mom. Carol said, nutritious, full of nutrients. What do you need to eat that makes your body feel healthy? This has been everything to me.
Oh, I'm
Yay,
so
Carol!
glad that's like a light bulb
Yes.
moment for you.
Okay, let's see. Okay, questions, you guys. I know I saw some. Let me just go back up here. If you have any, what was the name of that book that you mentioned
Oh my
again?
gosh, yes. You
Secrets
have to.
from the Eating Lab.
Yeah.
So that's just if you are somebody who, there are a lot of books that talk about the intuitive eating research, which is helpful, but I found it really helpful for someone to go back and analyze all of the pro weight loss, pro diet stuff, and that's what she does. It is incredible.
I want to share some of these stories because I think this is kind of cool. So Carissa just said, the diet mindset consumed me at age 16 and continued into college. How could this be prevented for some young, so more young girls don't fall into the same trap that I did?
That's hard, especially now that we have social media.
I don't know.
I don't think
Well-
I know, but I think what we're doing now, like I know there's a lot of really cool college groups out there right now that are trying, because I mean,
Yeah.
it's really what you're trying to do when you're like young. You're just trying.
Yeah.
To promote more health at every size, diverse bodies, everything. So I think it's getting out there, but media is also going to try to pull back because it doesn't really want that out there because it loses
Right.
money, you know? So
Well-
it's up to us. I really think finally it's up to us as consumers to like push it. Like, this is
Yeah.
what I want. I do not want to see that. I want to see me. I want to see my sister, you know, like, no.
And we had to set the example. I mean, I think
Yeah,
first and foremost, I had to learn to do this to show my body in a bathing suit, show myself at the beach, enjoying life, participating in life, no matter what size I am, and just not, for us, not hiding different parts of ourselves or photoshopping things. Like, it starts with us. And then I think there are amazing documentaries like the Embrace documentary to invite younger girls to watch together and to emulate people who are changing this tide. I mean, follow people on Instagram who are showing different types of body, who are bodies, who are showing body diversity, who are talking about it and making that cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yes.
I mean, that sounds silly, but like
No, but you have
making
to. Yeah.
body diversity cool.
Cool,
Yes.
cool
Again,
everything.
or for the first time ever.
Yeah, I'll say two groups who are doing this work because we don't have any experience raising teenage daughters. Girls to the Moon. So if you just Google Girls to the Moon, and then Amy Poehler's Smart Girls. So those are two organizations that are doing good work for young girls.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, 2 more questions, and then I'm going to ask you about what's coming up next.
Awesome.
So this is a big one to tackle. So we'll see if you can literally answer it really, really quickly. Take a shot of your LaCroix, sponsored by not LaCroix. Just kidding. Okay, Stephanie asked, where do you even start with intuitive eating?
I read the book.
Yes.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, there is a book called Intuitive Eating.
Yes.
Start there.
Yes, a lot of people spend a year, 2 years trying to navigate intuitive eating, and they get very frustrated. And then in one-on-one sessions, it's like, well, they haven't read the book. So start with the book. It's a thick book. Get the latest edition, the 3rd edition. I recommend it on audio because it's a big book, and it's just easier to like listen to it. Start there.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so last question comes from Kelly. She said, I have gained some weight over the past few months, and I definitely don't feel my best. How can I be kind to myself, make some changes, but also not get obsessed about it or fall into diet culture?
Man,
Great question.
Yeah. Oh, that is a great question. But I feel like a lot of women have that question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, first of all, I mean, anytime someone wants to just be like, I want to feel better about myself, like, yes, you can still exercise. But if you are exercising or, I don't know, trying new vegetables just because you're wanting to lose weight, you're missing out on the whole and all the benefits of what exercising and nutritious foods is. So if you really do care about just, I want to feel better, then start doing all those things, working out, walking more, hanging out with your friends more, getting sleep. And then you will just start feeling better. Your body will start feeling better. Does that mean your body might change your weight? It might not. But if you're feeling better, then it shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's a hard thing to, like,
Can I
accept.
Yeah,
you
go.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say if you're not feeling good in your body, then I would maybe push back and say on the assumption that it is due to a weight gain. Like, are there other things going on in your life? Are there stresses? Are there other changes that's been going on that have led to you not, like, being in poor health? And then another outcome is a weight change.
Right.
Yeah.
As soon as you start restricting food and you go on a diet, your body is going to do things to counteract every action that you take. So anytime that you resist the urge, if for no other reason, then it's going to be ineffective, and you will actually end up with more extra weight on your body than before you had started. Yeah, we could have a whole other session on how smart your body is, and it's taking care of you. So, like, don't, intuitive eating is really about partnering with your body. You are not, it is taking care of you in ways that maybe don't feel like it's your partner and best friend, but it really is taking care of you.
I mean, we are still so quick to just blame food or for anything instead of everything else going on in our life.
Yeah.
And that's what we learned with all of our women is that women will be like, oh, I've gained this weight or I don't feel good about myself. We're like, well, you're sleeping 3 hours or you are so stressed out right now. And they're like, oh, no, but this. And we're like, no.
Right. Back up.
Yeah.
Back up.
Well, and I would add to, not to plug my own things, but I'm going to plug my own things. I just did a video a couple weeks ago about this. You can find it in the video portion of my Facebook page that is titled, Why Do I Want to Lose Weight? And we get into really discovering that, figuring that out, like what the motivation is behind that. And then I have several videos on how to reconnect to your body with gentle movement in a way that's not triggering, that removes you from diet culture and does it from a place of love versus trying to earn love. So I've got a lot of videos, so check those out because that's my jam. That's what I feel like I love to talk about. But pushing it back on you guys, first of all, I feel like we could talk about this for
we could.
hours and hours and hours. But I want to know from you guys, what's next? What's coming up? What do people get to look forward to? And how can they find you?
Yay! Well, first you can just find us on social media everywhere. So on Instagram, Facebook, we love all of that, Hot Healthy Habits. But the big thing that we are working on right now is what we were talking about earlier is the 2018 retreat.
Yay!
And it is going to be so incredible. I mean, it's just an entire weekend where it still blows my mind that women who don't even know each other show up. Yeah. And it just gives you a chance to actually learn about yourself and hear very real, raw stories of other women. And yes, you just leave being like inspired, being like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone in this world. Yep. And yes, I have the support I've been looking for. But it's 3 days. It's May 4th through 6th. And last year it sold out really quickly. So I think we only have a couple. I mean, we have a few left. But
so if you're interested, you should definitely don't wait.
We have a payment option and everything. Yeah. You know how that works.
And so where can they go to register for the event?
So you can go to hothealthyhabits.com/retreat-2018.
Awesome. So we're going to leave that up for just a second, just so that everybody has a chance to screenshot it, check it out, get over there, because I know that it will absolutely sell out. And I will be the first to say that it is well worth every single penny, because I was there for the past 2 years. It if nothing else, just to have a community of people who are thinking this way and who are having really important and intelligent conversations, and to have you guys like spearheading it. You had like 15 or so speakers this past year.
Incredible speakers.
Like from the top of their fields
Yes.
with incredible credentials. I was not one with the credentials, but I spoke from a place of personal experience, which is, hey, that counts for something.
Yes,
But truly, you flew in like the top of the top of the top of people who are leading this charge. And so even just to be in a room with people who know what they're talking about, who have done their research, I totally recommend going to this, inviting your friends and family, making a whole weekend out of it. Nashville's such a fun place to visit.
Yes.
We'll be there. We can hang out. There's like a cocktail evening.
Yeah. It's so much fun.
It's just fun.
It really is.
It's one part conference, one part party.
Yes.
Again.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's that's like the feel, because it's we've never been to an event
No.
like it.
It's true.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Right.
It's different than anything. And I'm kind of a conference junkie.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be like, oh, it's not that cool. It's that cool. Like, it's so fun. It's so fun.
That does feel a lot.
Guys, everybody is just like freaking out. They love you so much. Thank you for all of your
y'all.
comments
We love y'all. Oh my
and
gosh,
your
thank
questions. So you guys can follow them at hothealthyhabits.com,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Follow them on social media. They both have their own personal accounts. We will link to that in the comments so you guys can find them, follow them, and thank you for being
you,
here.
Mary. This was so good.
So great.
awesome.
This was so great. I love it.
All right, so I'm just going to end the show and to say that the purpose of life is to be grateful, to be great, and to be full. I will see you guys next week. Bye.